and they're young, but they know music back in the 50s, the 30s, the 20s, and on. So
Mm-hmm.
about 2 weeks ago, we had, where was we at? We were somewhere, and these older guys was like listening to my kids. Every song they played, they were like singing it. Every song. They're like, wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute, where these kids come from? They're mine. So we did a battle with them,
Okay.
and they won.
And
They
they
won
won.
$500. Right. So we won the battle the following day. We was out here at Country Club Hill. The battle they had did the other day. I mean, the next day, and it was like 30 some people out there. My
Mm-hmm.
kids tore it up because they know music.
That's good.
So right. So me and Dave were talking. I'm like, oh, I would just tell you what. But when I actually sing his music, I'm like, I put my foot in my mouth. He has so much music. I know so much music, but he has so much. So I told him there's a difference between having so much music and then knowing music too.
That's
So
true.
it depends on what it is you're playing. But I mean, my baby boy is 21 and he loves Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
So that would tell you enough.
Right.
Okay, about how I raise my kids.
Hold
Um,
that thought. Hold on for 1 second. Okay. Thank you. Well, a pleasant good evening and welcome to Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Right here on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis and Chicago, and of course, the best music of your life. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, officially checking in, live and in living color. You can call us. Our number here, 773-675-2400. That number again, 773-675-2400. Now, you can listen to us several ways. First way is on TuneIn. That's the TuneIn app. The other way is Radio USA. That's another app. The third app is Simple Radio. Simple Radio. That's the third app. And the fourth and final app is our own through the Amazon Play Store. All right. Coming up in our last hour, we do a little thing we call foreplay. 4 songs by one of your favorite artists or groups, male or female. And that's in the last hour. Let's kick it off with Prince Rogers Nelson. I'm back. I'm sorry.
don't apologize.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. I was listening.
I'm no Wayne Fields, but I'm doing a syndicated show.
Did you hear that, Dave?
He ain't listening to me.
I already know that. I put on mute so your head is all stuck. Yeah, but I already know that.
Oh, okay. Mm.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever even heard my bedtime story show.
I haven't heard it since I got off nights. I'm not on nights anymore.
Oh, okay.
When I was on nights, I was listening to you all the time.
Oh, okay.
You anyway. But that's how I met you because I think you took his place. You was on vacation or sick or something.
Right.
Right. That's how I met you.
Yep. That was
First
it.
thing I asked you, I called you to play a song for me. I called you to play Bread. Remember that? By the OJ.
Yep, I remember now.
Right. I called you to play Bread.
Yep.
And then I kept listening to you the other night, and that's when you went through a little story about what you were going through, and I called you. I got in touch with you, and we've been friends ever since.
Yep.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been dissing me ever since. He said, "Man, when they gonna replace Wayne?" When they gonna replace Wayne? Who is this guy they got on at night? I tell you.
I haven't heard the station in 3 years that night. I don't know. That's why I asked.
Oh, okay.
I remember you said you was doing it because you and what's old boy guy that owned the station, Herbert the Span's daughter wasn't getting along, and then you said she let you fill in, but that wasn't permanent at that time.
No, it's been permanent ever since day one. When he passed, they passed it on to me, and I've been doing it for 3 years. As of May 15th, I think it was.
Right.
3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when he died. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yep, he died on a Saturday night, and Monday when I walked in the station, they were like, "Okay, you are now the new host of the B-side." So I said, "Oh, okay." They didn't even look for nobody.
Okay.
They said, you are his replacement. No, we feel like no one else could, actually do that show but you because you filled in for him.
Right.
And whenever he would get sick, he would be like, "Call Al, call Al." Okay. So that's how I got it.
I ain't never took nothing away from you all on the music side of DJ. I said, yeah, you good. I think you good.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him, Sheila, ask him anything about artists or the music or anything. Ask him. He knows.
Okay, when the man comes. It just won't be today.
Just won't be today. Well, get my number from Dave. All right. Maybe you'll be a fan of mine. He don't think I'm nothing. I'm just some old guy. Some old guy he met.
I understand.
Yeah, he said since we friends, he can't be no fan.
Why not?
He ain't no fan. We just friends. He ain't nothing. We just friends. Now before he met me, it was different. I was a celebrity then, and now
You low key.
yeah, now he just a punk motherfucker. Yep. All right, Sheila, it was good talking with you.
You as well.
Let me finish my show here. All right, later on, Dave.
Okay,
Take care.
all right, my brother.
Troy Anthony said, "Which app do I use to avoid accidentally hearing any of this?" He is funny, boy. I swear, you missed your calling, brother. You missed your calling. Anyway, hello to everyone else. I was on that call before I went on the air, so please forgive me, Troy. I did not intentionally try to, blow anybody off. Ooh, Lord. Bonita, what's going on, Bonita? Bonita Clay, long time no talk to. How you been, Bonita? Y'all gotta excuse me. I just woke up. I just got out of bed. So I'm getting it together. All right. So especially Troy, he gets a little sensitive about stuff like that. Him and my good friend Dave Harris, they get real sensitive about me doing other stuff besides talking to you guys. He said he'd be rude. Not trying to be rude, but sometimes the conversation spills over into the broadcast. And people don't believe that, they don't believe I am who I say I am. So, not that I'm anybody, because Troy tell you, I'm nobody. So, I'm the worst of the worst. I'm a pretty crappy DJ. And even worse personality on the radio. I'm even worse. Calling your name. You zilch. Thank you. See, I told you. So the weather here in Chicago, last week it was like 70, 80. Today it was like 50, 60. Yep. You all right with me. Thank you, Bonita. Thank you. Hey, Latanya. That's my girl right there. One of these days we're going to hook up. One of these days we're going to hook up. Latanya be putting some pictures on Facebook. You know, she just Hollywood down. She have her sunglasses on. Just, lips popping, everything. I said, one of these days we just going to hook up. I've been so busy. Today I was off from VON, so I got a lot of stuff accomplished. A lot of stuff. There was still one thing that I didn't do, and that was to pick up my taxes. So that was the only thing. But I did get my mattress and box spring. I did go pick up some furniture over at my good friend Mike Finney, who will probably be on the radio with us later on this evening. But I get one day off a week from everything, except this show. I, promise I will never put in a rerun Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as long as I'm available. I won't do that. So she said, I'm off work too. Today, Monday is my only day off. I work Sunday to Sunday. Last night, if I wasn't at BGX, I'll be at Geno's out in Calumet Park. So I was there until almost midnight. So from 8 to almost midnight, I was at Geno's. Of course, I always post everything, but people never come and support me. They never do. Preston Shanks. Brother Frederick and Gentle right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Hello to Latanya Lynn Garrett, also to Benita Clay, Troy Anthony, and Preston Shanks. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. I appreciate that. Don't forget to tell your friends about it, because this is what we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Bedtime Stories on WOST Radio, as well as the best music of your life, and Tuesday through Thursday on bigsradio.com. I know, guys, you hear this song every hour on the hour on other radio stations, but this is the original. Here are the Isley brothers that make me say it again, girl. 5.
Yeah,
Leaving?
yeah, I have a doctor's appointment at 7 a.m.
Ooh. Oh my. Oh, I'll still be knocked out.
Hmm?
I'll still be knocked out.
Yeah, while I'll be at the doctor
Knocked out.
getting an infusion.
Ooh. Be back, guys. Don't go nowhere. Talk amongst yourselves, all right? Okay. Thank you.
What are you making it for?
Spending a little time with me. Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry.
You're only the third person I've had to, you know, just actually spend some time. You know, that's usually not that I do. I'm back. I had to let my friend out. She was nice enough to drive me to go get my mattress and box spring, which was right up the street on 63rd Street. Yep. He's leaving to check the restaurants. He has on that woman. The restraints. Which is funny because I was trying to watch that miniseries on Jeffrey Dahmer. I couldn't watch it. Yeah. Preston said only the third. Yep. Carl Dobbins, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, the restraints. Yeah. I couldn't watch that Jeffrey Dahmer movie. I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't. I'm like, it just started off bad. Here he is perusing these gay clubs. And his first victim that we saw was a black boy. And I'm like, oh, I can't watch this. What's going on, Lanice? It's my goddaughter, guys. So does that make me a god grandfather? Is that god grandfather? That's a lot of names, I tell you. Yep, she has just adopted 2 little girls. I can't wait to meet them. What you said, that movie is trash. Preston, his whole being was just trash. I went to sleep on the second episode. I'm sorry, I just can't get into that show. I'm sorry, I watched it for a few minutes and it was just too disturbing. Too disturbing. I said, no, I can't watch this. Mm-mm. And I'm sure it's acted very well. I'm sure, all of that stuff. I'm sure all the accounts are, accurate or whatever. I just couldn't watch it. I mean, I knew from what I heard about Jeffrey Dahmer what was going on, but, you. Anyway, I think it's time for me to get a haircut. Yeah. Yep. Good evening, Ronnie. How are you? Once again, I gotta thank you. I can't thank you enough. You just don't know. Well, maybe you do know. That's why you paid it forward. So, a lot of people, they think I make a whole lot of money because I'm working all these jobs. But if I had a helpmate, if I had, someone, who stayed with me and, helped me foot the bills, I wouldn't have to work as many jobs. But they say that every household needs at least two incomes. Well, I'm working three jobs. I was working five. I had to let go of the menswear store in River Oaks because I was never there. So, and they were, it was paying cash. So I was just never there because I was always taking off to go DJ somewhere. So, there was no hard feelings, of course. I'm like, and it's on a Saturday. So Saturday I'd be working, doing like a jazz brunch or working with Brother Antone. So it's just difficult to be, to have employment on one day, which was Saturday. So, uh-oh, would you? What's going on, Brother Fahim? He said, get Latanya Lynn Garrett as a helpmate. You know what? If she'll have me, you know, and I got to say this, and nothing against her, but a lot of these young ladies they don't want an older man. Now, see, I'm older, and they don't want an older man. They want a young guy, somebody their own age. But my thing is, a woman cannot, you can't learn anything from anybody your own age because they say that women age mentally faster, and some men never really grow up. They never really grow up. Case in point, my niece, she dated this guy a few years ago. She said he did nothing but lie the whole relationship. I'm like, he didn't never tell the truth. I'm like, wow. She said she said that the guy got married while they were dating, which is sad, And you got to think that, he was around her age. But you can't learn anything from anyone who is your own age. You can't. You just can't. That's some women, not all. I prefer seasoned men. Well, there you go. But Ronnie, you are one of the few that prefer a seasoned man. The rest of them, how old are you? Oh my God. Oh, what if your daughter brought home a 60-year-old man? I said, first of all, none of my daughters are attracted to anybody near 60. And the only 60-year-old man in their lives is me. That's it. They wouldn't dare date anybody my age. They just wouldn't. But even if they did, then he better look good and he better treat them well. And that's all I got to say. So Benita said, me too. I don't do young. But you said lucky bride. I mean, look at Mr. Biggs. Look at Ron Isley. Look at how young his wife is. I'm just saying. She don't want no little boy. She want a grown man, and he is a seasoned man. Lionel Richie, his girlfriend is 40 something. She missed his entire career as a Commodore. She missed Sweet Love, Just to Be Close to You, Slippery When Wet, Break Up. She missed all of that. She met him as a judge on American Idol. So my thing is, you don't need anybody your own age. True, they say age ain't nothing but a number. As long as the two people are legal, legal, and that they get along with each other. That's all. That's it. That's all. As long as they get along with each other. Now, there's going to be they want that money. And yeah, that's true too. There's always going to be a cultural difference. Like when we start talking about Funtown and old Chicago and Riverview, of course, they're not going to remember that. The only thing they're going to remember is Great America. Everything that we grew up, Goldblatts and Weebolts and, Stores of Venture. They're not going to know anything about that. All they know about is Foreman Mills, the Mall of America, and that's about it. They're not going to remember any of that stuff because they were in the womb. So it's up to us to tell them about it. It's like, oh, this reminds me of, back in the day when, Evergreen Plaza was open, the real Evergreen Plaza, where you never had to go outside to go to another store. All the stores were up under one roof. So that has got to be one of my favorite songs from Curtis Mayfield. No one knows about a good thing till the good thing is gone. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Hello once again to Preston Shanks. Thank you so much. Also to Ronnie. I was just mentioning, and Brother Fahim Manure, I cannot forget him. Cindy Brooks said, there's nothing that I can do with someone under 55. Now, I heard that. I hear you. At least they have to have been in our shoes at one time or another. Or at least remember. Troy Anthony said, I remember when Coca-Cola was made with real cocaine. Yeah, well, there you go. But I used to get teased all the time. It's like, you don't date anybody your own age. I said, not really. No, not if I can help it. Both of my wives they're exactly the same age now. But, they remembered stuff from when they were younger that their parents taught them or their parents would talk about. So they knew of it. They just weren't in it. So when I mentioned, Riverview, Funtown, or Old Chicago, they knew what I was talking about. Of course, they were like 3 and 4 years old. Like, for instance, my wife's favorite group is Blue Magic. Blue Magic's first song came out in 1972. And so did she. Here's Isaac Hayes on Bedtime Stories. If you had black and white TV, then you're too old to date anyone. Oh, man. I remember when we got our first color television. I remember it well. The TV came from Sears. It was a Sears Silvertone. And it was a smaller TV. Now, when I grew up, we had the big Zenith, the floor model Zenith, with the remote control that made a whole lot of noise. So that was our first TV. That was a big black and white Zenith. The next one, we had a color TV. We had to sit it on a card table because back then, I don't think they had TV tables. We would put the new TV on top of the console. 9 times out of 10, the console would be the TV, a record player with an 8-track, or, in some cases, a shortwave radio. My brother has my dad's Grundig Majestic that he bought when he was a kid. So it's got to be like worth a lot of money if it comes on. Grundig Majestic. It had a record player with a 45 rack. It had a radio that played AM, FM, and shortwave 1 and 2. That's how old it was. And don't nobody know about that. That was the first turntable that I learned how to DJ on. When you make a playlist, it's like you stack the 45s on there so they drop down and play. That was making a playlist back in the day. So whenever our big TV went out, we get a little one and we put the little one on top of the big one and keep on stepping. Well, that TV, of course, had a remote control. So, wait a minute. I don't even think it had a remote control. Now that I think of it, my brother and I were the remote control. So, get up and change that channel, channel 7. Okay, sure, okay. So that was it. We were the remote control. So back then, TV went off. So if you're going to watch a certain show or whatever, a certain channel, then you had to watch that channel till it went off. And they'd show the Indian head at the end of it, with the station's logo or the station's call letters. And that was it. I remember when Bruce Jenner was a guy. Who can forget Bruce Jenner, a guy? Yeah. Who knew? And that, changing the subject, that reminds me of everybody who's ever dated a Kardashian woman. They just lose their minds. Bruce changed from being a guy to being a very ugly woman. What was his name? Odom, the basketball player. He dated Chloe. He almost killed himself with doing a drug overdose. I think the only one that didn't kill himself or, was Ray J. Ray J dated, Kim before she was even famous. Before she became infamous. So every last one of them goes crazy. And oh, poor Kanye. Oh, Kanye. Good Lord. I don't know what it is about those Kardashian women. What's up in there? I don't know. Make you want to change from being a world-class gymnast to being a old-looking bag lady. Like, what? Call me Caitlyn. Like, Bruce, what? And don't get me wrong, Kris Jenner is not an ugly-looking woman. She's not ugly. But I'm like, I remember when Kenny Rogers was in a psychedelic band. Oh, yeah. But I'm like, at what point did you think that you were going to become a woman? I don't get it. They have children together. Couldn't he have just dated another woman? Did he have to become a woman? That is just so sad. It's just so sad. But to each his own, right? To each his own. And I'm like, wow. So he decided, hey, I want to see how the other side lives. You know, this man was on the box of Wheaties. I guess that don't mean nothing, right? That makes no never mind. I'm like, wow. Was it that bad? I mean, every last one of them. Kanye, what's his name? Odom, all of them. Bruce Jenner admitted in a documentary that when he was 8, he wore his mama's bra and underwear while she was gone. I get it. I don't understand it, and I can't, I cannot identify with that. I remember when I was a kid putting my mother's shoes on because, when I was like 12, 13 years old, I could wear her shoes. But to that extent, that was it. I didn't want to try on her clothes. I didn't want to walk around with no bra and panties on. None of that stuff. Al Greer admitted he waited until he was 9 to do that. I admired my mother. Don't get me wrong. I admired my mother, but I did not want to be her. I figure black men have enough problems. They have enough problems. Why would they want to be black women too? You already got one strike against you. Well, 2, you're a black man. That's 2 strikes. Black and a man. Why would I want to be a black woman? No. And that's another conversation that I had with a good friend of mine. She said these women or these men who have the sex change, that is, when they invert your penis, it never works. It never works. It never is as functional as a woman's vagina. It doesn't lubricate itself. It doesn't do anything. It's no more than it's no more than one of these. It's no more than a piercing. That's it. It's like they tunnel a hole and they make it look like, and it never looks like what it's supposed to look like. It is what it is. It's a piercing. They cut a hole in you and split your penis in half, cut it like a damn hot dog, and try to make something else out of it. Never functional. Cindy said, "Get off that subject, bro." Troy said, "I remember when MTV played music videos." I know, right? I cannot tell you the last time I looked at MTV. MTV is not what it used to be. Back in the day, MTV played videos. That was the main, the main source of that station was to play videos, to introduce new music. And every time I turn on MTV, it's some reality show about, I'm 16 and pregnant or 15 and pregnant. It's like, what does this have to do with music? MTV is music television. It ain't no music on that television. Sure did, yeah. Fab Five Freddy, everybody used to run home to watch Yo MTV Raps. That was back in the day when rap music was kind of cool. These days, rap music is not kind of cool. It is kind of ratchet. It is kind of, I can't understand. That's what it's kind of. It's like, kind of why, I mean, I think the turning point was NWA. That's when the music changed because before that we had LL, we had Cool Modi, and in some cases, Tupac and Biggie. But after that, it was just it was downhill from that, as far as I'm concerned. There are no rappers that came out after NWA that, I'm sorry, they just won't be in no Hall of Fame. I wouldn't want to see them at a tour or anything else. That's it. They're just awful. Yo MTV rap, yeah, mumble rap. Yo MTV Raps was as important as Soul Train or American Bandstand. That was the Soul Train for the younger crowd. That was the American Bandstand for people that like rap music. But now, today, you put a C in front of it. It's crap music. It's like, what are they even talking about in these songs? There is nothing lyrical about it. They just put some thoughts together and put it on paper and spit it out over a beat. Turn my music up. Turn me up in the headphones. They're not talking about it. But then again, no one wants to hear positivity in rap music anymore. They don't. They don't want to hear anything intelligent. They want to hear Boogie Down Productions, self-destruction. They don't want to hear that stuff. Ford Thompson just can't walk away, right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Love songs, music that you can understand, music that have lyrics in it, and an arrangement, and some people singing. No samples. I'm just saying. We were talking about off the air. We were talking about MTV and how it's changed. Troy Anthony said, I remember when MTV played videos, music videos. Yo MTV Raps was as important to us as a show like Soul Train or dare I say it, American Bandstand. That was the Soul Train or American Bandstand for a new generation of people coming up, with music and lyrical content. These days, like Ronnie said, it's just mumble rap. You can't understand what they're saying. You don't know what they're talking about. You can't relate. When rappers were bragging about cars and women and all of that stuff, we understood that. We could identify with that, because we were trying to get it too. And they were rapping about it, but it was cool. Before they started calling women out of their names, it was cool. Ronnie said video soul. That was a whole different thing. We had a whole channel dedicated to stuff that was pertaining to us, things that we did. Video soul with Donnie Simpson, the Black News with Angela Stribling and Melvin Lindsay, may he rest in peace. The creator of The Quiet Storm. But they don't have that anymore. MTV plays some of the dumbest shows. I'm sorry. MTV has not played any M in a while. And that's music television. That's what it stands for. VH1. It was a whole different thing. They played videos for older people like myself. And one of their VJs was a guy by the name of Frankie Crocker. I miss him. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, reminiscing about the good old days right here on Bedtime Stories. Here's the genie, Bobby Lyle, and Good Inside on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Giving my love to you. Video So. Hi, I'm Johnny Simpson. Welcome to Video So. Did I tell you guys you're one of my favorite groups? Give it up. Let's give it up for the Ohio Players. Then Cameo will come on. I tell you guys, you're one of my favorite groups. I love Cameo. And then Phyllis Hyman would come on. You are one of my favorite singers. Next week, we have Vesta on. She's one of my favorite singers. I'm like, is there anyone that you don't like, Donnie? You green-eyed monster, you? Angie Martin Turner, what's going on, sis? You sound like him. Hi, I'm Donnie Simpson. Welcome to Video So. They're back together, and we've got them here tonight. Let's give it up for New Edition. Hey, guys, you know you're one of my favorite groups. And then Bill would say, you say that every week, man. You like everybody. Is there anybody you don't like? Oh, I didn't realize that they were my favorite groups, too. You know, everybody's your favorite group, Donnie. The Green-Eyed Monster, yep. John Caldwell. Yeah. Tune in again. Tomorrow night, we have Patti LaBelle stopping by. She's one of my favorite singers. No! I just want them to get on once and say, we've got Faith Evans on tomorrow night. She's not one of my favorite singers. Neither is Mary J. Blige. She's not one of my favorite singers. I want them just once to get on and just break character. Break character, Donnie. Just say, I hate this heifer. I hate her music and everything she stands for. I'm Donnie Simpson. Good night, everybody. Is there anyone you don't like, Donnie? You know. But of course, Donnie's an icon in music history. And I don't take that away from him. Donnie has carried the torch from all of the old school guys that have passed. You know, the Fred Buggs and the Jerry Bledsoes in New York, Frankie Crocker, what was his name? Vaughn Harper. You know, he has carried the torch. He's one of the last of the Mohicans. He is, one of the last of the originals, I mean, he was young when he started. I was young when I started. I was like a teenager. So, for him to still be doing it, to come out of retirement and still be on top after, being away for 4 or 5 years or 6 years or however long, that's a great feat, because most of our legends, they've gone on to glory and never to be heard of again. And that's it, The Richard Pegues, the Herb Kents, Purvis Spann, Ed Nassau, Daddy Cook, all of those people, they're all gone. Out of that whole group, I think Jay Johnson is the only one who's still on the air. And that's it. Everybody else, they're all gone. They're all gone. And I truly miss them. Troy said, I remember when it was common for a coyote to purchase dynamite for murder attempts on birds. Yes, I remember that too, yeah. You're so silly. You're so silly, Troy. Oh, no. You so silly. What is this you sending me? South Shore School of Leadership. I don't remember that school, but okay. I'll be a part of it. Sure, why not? I heard Jim Rags. Yes. Jim Rags is now the general manager of a car wash out in Gary, out in Maryville. Yeah. But all those men, all those names that I mentioned, they had something to do with me. Uh, when Herb went off the air at night on VON and they switched over to Wesley South and Hotline, I didn't want to listen to Hotline. That was the only talk show that they had on WVON where people could call in. So Hotline was like a popular show at night because people could call in for an hour and they did, talking, which was the precursor to the station that we have today, which is 1690. But I would switch over from Herb and listen to Rags. Rags was at a station out in Gary, WWCA at 1270 AM. So I listened to him after listening to Herb. Once Herb signed off, good night, Mrs. Levinson. Good night, Michelle. And to all you YOs, a bunch of 73s to you. I'm Herbert Rogers Kent. Zot. And he would, play Open Our Eyes by the Gospel Clubs. And that was it. Now I switch over to Rags and listen to him till I went to sleep. That's so nice, I got to play it twice. So says your ever-loving Rag Man. So, I got it honest. I listened to him. I listened to Piggy. I listened to Bobby OJ. One time I tried to imitate Tom Joyner, all because they were making money. So I wanted to sound like these guys who were making money. Doug Banks, everybody. Good morning. 7:40, 20 minutes in front of 8 o'clock on the Banks and Company Morning Show. Buh and Cuh. Bonnie's got to look at the traffic. Jay's got sports. And Curl Man will be on the board. So, I remember when Skunch used to dry hump stray cats. Oh, no. Oh, Cherie. Yeah, they won't have that no more. I'm like, what is that all about? Like, what did Pepe Le Pew do to you? I don't understand. I don't understand. But back then, the cartoons were just funny. They were just funny. Like, he thinks that she's a skunk too, and it's a cat. Because they did a Space Jam too, right? With LeBron in it. They had to take Pepe's part out. What did I do? The, the Me Too movement cut his whole thing is on the cutting room floor. The no means no, Pepe. No, my cherie. Doug Banks, everybody. 9:55, 5 in front of 10 o'clock on the Buh and Cuh show. Coming up in a few minutes, it's the 8:05 guy. Yeah. Yeah, one of the listeners was the one that came up and dot that I. So they had to change the logo to put a dot on top of the I. So I don't think they use it to this day anymore. So. Oh, yeah. Hamilton Bohannon, Thoughts and Wishes, right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. I remember one year I was working at Dusty Radio 1390 before they were gospel and everything else. I was working there. And Hamilton Bohannon himself came down to the radio station. Now, we had been playing, South African Man and, of course, Thoughts and Wishes. And he came down looking for his money. I'm like, his money? Because all of a sudden now we were playing his songs. So he wanted his money for us playing his songs. I'm like, bro, it don't work like that. We don't give you the money. The money comes from the recording industry, RIAA. We don't give you the money. If it's copywritten, then you'll get your money in the form of a check in your mailbox. Not from 332 South Michigan, bruh. It's Doc Banks, everybody. Mike.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
All right. Did you hear me?
I didn't get a chance to listen.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna put you on. Give me a few minutes. I'm in the middle of a song.
Okay.
And
So just give me a call. What, am I in Indianapolis or Chicago?
Chicago.
Okay. Let me tune in right now. Call me about 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. All right. TC. Good evening to you.
It's Doug Banks, everybody.
I wish. I miss him too, man. I miss him too. Ugh. I love you. I love you. Whatever happened to that group? The Dynamics, not to be confused with the Dramatics and the Ice Cream Song right here on Bedtime Stories on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis in Chicago, and of course the best music of your life in Chicago. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, and this particular show is sponsored by good friends over at Grubhub. Time to do the delivery dance.
Get the food you love with perks from Love What You Love.
That's right. I think my niece may have had Grubhub earlier. It was smelling good too, in the bag. Once again, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories. Hello to Preston Shanks, also to TC Thanks for checking in to Bedtime Stories. And of course, Troy Anthony says, I remember when skunks used to dry hump stray cats. I guess he's making reference to the character Pepe Le Pew, whose performance was cut out of the new Space Jam movie because of the Me Too movement. Because it's a cartoon, folks. It's a cartoon, just like the Woman King. Somebody called in to WVON and they were saying, that they thought that the Woman King was not accurate. I'm like, everything doesn't have to be accurate. Sometimes they do movies for entertainment. Duh. Anyway, happy belated birthday to Kim Perry, also known as Kimberly Bradshaw, who was the wife of Casper. Happy birthday, sis. She just made 50 years old. 50. Wow. Y'all getting old. Anyway, there's Mike Finney. Hold on, guys. Hold on, Mike. I'm about to put you on right now. Hold on. Let me see now. Add call. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. And then do that there, and then I do this here, and I hit this button here. Now, this is live radio, ladies and gentlemen. Unlike my friend Dave, he doesn't listen to me anymore. He says, "Oh, your show's not live. I can't call in." I said, "No one can call in, not even if I am live. They don't have the phone number." But anyway, can you hear me? Oh, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Finney, ladies and gentlemen. Hey. Mike just got off the air with Dinah Lynn Biggs, our good friend over at WDLB, that also carries Bedtime Stories on her station. So thank you so much, Mike. How are you this evening, sir? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Mike, let's go back a few years. I've been knowing you for how long now? Urban Broadcast Media, absolutely. That was run by your brother, Dr. Leon Finney. And that's where we met. And that was, it seemed like it wasn't that long ago at, what was that, 4104. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I came in there and I did my thing and I left and started doing my own thing. But of course, we never lost touch. We may have lost touch for a hot second, but we got back in touch with each other. The song that we're about to play, how old is this song? Now you told me, but I want you to tell the audience how old this song is. How many years? 4 years old. Now, which is interesting because we used to always say if you never heard it before, then it's brand new. But this song I played the other night. I was at Gino's last night, and this lady was in her chair squirming. I tried to get her attention, but she wasn't feeling my old self. So I was like, okay. So I played and I tried to videotape her on my phone. But every time I would turn the phone, turn the phone around, she would stop dancing. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep playing the song anyway. So tell me the story about Don't Take Your Love. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It don't fit.
Back with that track, we said, okay, now sing your verse with this. And every single word I put on there with the new track, it is like a hand on glove. I'm like, wow.
Man.
Okay.
And
he said, this is the way we do it, and it came about.
And once again, this song is 4 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Mike Finney, this is Don't Take Your Love Away, right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother. Go get it. Go download it. Thanks, Mike. All right, Mike, it's playing.
Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much.
Man, you know I got you. You know I got you.
I appreciate it, man. And even looking for time to be here.
I'm gonna try to get up as early as I can and get over there and get those chairs.
Okay.
2 of them are sitting in the in the dining room.
Yes.
But thanks again, brother.
Oh man, anytime, man. So stay in touch, man.
Okay.
God bless.
God bless. Kiki. Miss RB. I love you too, sweetheart. Thank you. That's my daughter. That's my youngest. Troy Anthony, danger. Get on the floor. Richard, what's going on, sir? Kiki, I want my jacket, man. That jacket was sharp. Man. So I played this song for my niece, right? And Kiki, she's like, her mouth just flew open. She was like, that guy made this song? Yeah. Rashard, what's going on, sir? They don't be knowing. I'm like, yep, that guy right there. She was like, he didn't make that song, did he? Yeah, he did. She said, this is a hit. Like, what you know about that? What you say, Kiki, the sound man? Because you know, as soon as Casper walked in there, what did he do? Grab the mic. He grabbed the mic. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I didn't talk the rest of the night. That was it.
It's the greatest love songs of all time with Greer on Bedtime Stories.
Yeah. What song are you talking about? The one that I just played, Don't Take Your Love Away, from Michael Finney. I'm sorry. Yeah, Michael Finney. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. Yep, Michael Finney, whose brother was Dr. Leon Finney. Yep, of Leon's Ribs. Well, of course, their dad was of Leon's Ribs, but they kept it going on for so many years. Yeah. Yeah. You got the rare night off. You too, huh? I got the day off. That's very rare. Did I get a whole day off? Oh man, I can't wait to get in my new bed and mattress. The only thing is I didn't set up the bed frame. So the bed frame is still up against the wall. I'm not that, inclined, I'm not not mechanically, but I ain't no handyman, so I'm gonna let somebody else do it. Yep. I'm not gonna do it. That's just like my coworker. I let him hear Cat Stevens was Dog and Donut. He heard Cat Stevens, but didn't know Cat Stevens was the one that made the. And see, that's just it. When they think of Cat Stevens, they don't think of that song. They think of all the other songs that he did, where he was singing in them. From the album It's So. They don't know nothing about this. This is something that was pulled off of his album It's So. And it was never meant to be a hit. It was just it was never meant to be a hit. It was just something that they put on the album as a filler. But what do? We made a hit out of it. It's on every bootleg CD ever. Another cut, Loggins and Messina, Pathway to Glory. That became like a Steppers anthem. It was like Steppers would hear that song and they would just go to work. Casper and Kiki would just tear it up off that song. And that wasn't meant to be a hit. It was never released as a single. It will not be on any of their greatest hits album by Kenny Loggins. Another cut is I'll Be the One by Boz Scaggs. Now, that was meant to be a single. They put it out as a single, but it was never played on white radio. It was played on black radio only. When the Stylistics left Tom Bell, they got with a guy by the name of Van McCoy, who was popular at the time with a song called The Hustle. Well, Van McCoy had been recording songs as far back as the 60s. Songs with Gladys Knight and the Pips and other artists. The song, let's see, what was that song? Springs in the air. There's magic everywhere. When You're Young and in Love, he did that one, Choice 4. You can tell his influence in there because all of his arrangements sounded, the same. The group Faith, Hope, and Charity, he did So Much Love for Them and To Each His Own. He did a big hit for David Ruffin, which was Walk Away from Love. But when he got with the Stylistics, he put them back in their element. He made their songs sound like they did when, they were with Tom Bell, who did all the beautiful love songs. So, yep, Blue Eyed Soul. Yep, you're absolutely right. Boz Scaggs, all the rest of them. Loggins and Messina. Anyway, it's Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Alan Greer. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook. Richard, thank you. I haven't seen you in a while. Les Keith Scott, Kiki. Kiki had on this jacket on Saturday. I was like, man, I need that jacket. I said, what size is that? He asked me, what size you wear? I said, 44. That conversation was over with. It's like 44. Oh, that's my size. Anyway, it's bedtime stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, in his newly renovated studio. It's now soundproof, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Rick James from the album Bustin' Out of L7. This is Spacey Love, a song that he wrote for Patti LaBelle. As a matter of fact, he answers or mentions her by name in the name of the song. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, and this is Bedtime Stories. So Kiki said, "You ain't getting this jacket, bro. I love you, bro, but you ain't getting this jacket. You ain't getting this, brother." I said 44. You should have seen the look on Kiki's face. Oh man, you get this. You Al Greer, but you ain't getting this jacket. This jacket was cold, man. I was like, man, that's cold. I said, that's what I'm talking about. You know, and me, I had on a shirt that my niece, who's younger, of course, had picked out. She said, "Uncle Al, you always dress like you going to church. You look like a church deacon or a preacher." I said, "Okay, let's go somewhere and you pick me out a shirt and I'll wear it that night." And that was the shirt that I had on that I wore to Kim's party, you know. But it was like, I'm like, I don't dress like that. She's like, you know, if you're gonna get a young girl, you got to dress young. You always dress like, you know, like what's wrong with the way I dress? You know, I have double-breasted vests. So like when you take off, you know, a three-piece suit with a double-breasted vest. So you can either wear it, you know, with the jacket or just wear it alone with just the vest. And she's like, you dress too old. If you're trying to get a young girl, you need to dress younger. I said, okay. Les Keith Scott, a lot of people didn't recognize that. I know, right? Yeah, but people don't dress up to go anywhere anymore. This one guy had on a burgundy outfit. He found some burgundy cowboy boots to match his outfit. I mean, complete with hat and everything. I'm like, okay, I ain't mad at you, bro. But you know, I was like, now, you know, he was pretty clean too. You know, he was pretty clean. You know, I can't fault him for it. He was, you know, he was doing the thing. But that was just too much burgundy for me. You know, burgundy cowboy boots. I'm like, oh man, he was burgundy down. But, you know, everybody doesn't dress like that anymore. And the guys that do dress like that, they get talked about. It's like, oh, look at Pimp Daddy. Oh, look at Sporty Odie Odie Odie. You know. And you borrowed some cufflinks from your uncle, and they were the exact pattern of the jacket. See, nobody knows about that. Would you say change your cologne too, Al? Oh, okay. But that's just it. I paid attention when I was younger to the older guys, and that's the way they dressed. You know, they dressed like they were always going somewhere, like they were going out. They always dressed like Sporty Odie Odie. You know, even when they weren't going anywhere, when they were just standing on the corner, going nowhere, that's the way they dressed. You know, Stacey Adams, shoes shine, cufflinks, or white, you know, short sleeve shirt. You know, they were always clean, pants pressed, the whole thing, and a hat. Oh man, that was it. Yeah. But that's the way we dressed back in the day. Back to back to Cat Stevens. Yeah, Cat's, you know, What was that song? He did some song called Moonchild or Moon something. And that was just his thing. And that song was just, that song had funk written all over it. That was Dog and Donut. Yeah. But Keith, back to that jacket, man. Like I said, whenever you get tired of wearing it, just let me know. Just put in the cleaners and go ahead, let your brother rock it. Because we're never gonna get Casper out of them jogging suits. He said, I want to be buried in a jogging suit. I'm like, why? And then get this, Kiki. Why did he and Theo Huff have on the same jogging suits? What was that all about? Was that planned? I'm like, because every time I see Theo Huff, it's like he's stage ready. He have on the pointed toe shoes with the steel toe and all that stuff, and he's always stage ready. And Casper always got on a baseball cap turned to the back and some old ratty jogging suit. I'm like, the only time I saw Casper in a suit was his birthday party that he had out in Tinley Park, I think it was. This is right after his cancer scare. And whatever was in the medication he was taking made his skin like 3 shades lighter. So I started teasing him, calling him Chico DeBarge. So, and he got his color back. He turned a little bit more darker, but he was dark back then. He was almost like Idris Elba, but and he came out looking like, yeah. Casper said Theo normally wears a suit. Yeah, he normally wears a suit. Every time I've seen Theo Huff, he's always had on a suit. He came to my house one night. He was dressed to the nines. He just came to bring me some money for a commercial that I had done for him. And he was just, he was dressed down. Mr. Greer, let me come give you this money, man, because, you're the man with the $1 million voice. Thank you, Theo. That's a compliment. I appreciate that. You're the man with the $1 million voice, man. If I had your voice, if you had my voice, you wouldn't be no singer. You'd just be talking. But Theo's usually, dressed to go on stage, have a sparkly jacket on or whatever. Yeah. So you're trying to say that was staged? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I think they may have, collaborated on that, I'm like, because Theo never wears, I've never seen him in a jogging suit. And they both got on the same white jogging suits, really? Like, okay. What you wearing, Casper? Yeah. I'm going to wear mine, too. We're going to be twins. Like, you don't want to be twins with Casper. Trust me. Have your own identity. Anyway. What does my sister want? That's not my sister. My bad. Yeah, I think Kiki. I think the both of them. They call each other. What you wearing? From my good friend Dave Harris, who no longer listens to me because he says that my show, The B-Sides, is recorded. He can't call in and make a request. It makes absolutely no sense at all, Dave. But, I have an old saying, and that old saying goes like this. Either you accept people for the way they are, or you just don't F with them at all. And I accept him the way he is. The way he talks to women, talks down to them and calls them out their name. they seem to like it. I guess he's got some charm to it. You know, he's charming to a fault. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Hello to everyone who came out to Gino's last night. Of course, they didn't know who the F I was till the end of the night. Now, all of the security guards and or managers, they all know who I am. But the people who come there, I'm just the fill-in for Eric E.T. Taylor. That's it. And they come out and they step, you know, have a good time. I guess they're having a good time. I could be wrong. Maybe they're faking it. Anyway, and I got to say this to Eric E.T. Taylor. Thank you so much, because I needed that money. Trust me, I can pay my rent. My rent is now paid. Thank you to Eric E.T. Taylor. Not that it wasn't paid before, but, you know, I'm just saying. It put it up over the top. Did I jam? Yes, I did, Kiki. Yes, I did. Here's Lakeside, the first of two in a row. This is Say Yes on Bedtime Stories. Get lonely. Give you a call. You resist me. Don't resist me. I'll be back, guys. I gotta go grab some food, as I normally do. I wouldn't be me if I didn't eat in front of you guys. I'm back, and just in time. Yep. I see you have your sound wall behind you. Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I was looking for soundproofing, right? And I just happened to call Eric E.T. Taylor, and he said, packing sheets. I said, packing sheets? He said, yeah, those are those sheets that they throw over your TV so when you're moving, your TV doesn't get messed up. Packing sheets. Well, they sell them at U-Haul and also at, Menards, any kind of hardware store. Like, oh, okay. So they've been working so far, so far they've been working. So I can't complain. I was like, hey, whatever it takes. Packing sheets. And I hung it up on the wall. And, it's been working, because the room sounded hollow at first, but, it sounds a lot better now. So I'm happy. I'm so happy. Who knew? Packing sheets. I'm going to get a couple more. I'm going to just cover the whole wall with it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Packing sheets. They're real, they're thick sheets, and that's it. So can't complain about that. A double bacon cheeseburger from Portillo's. Man, they'll talk about Portillo's. Man, they're Italian beef sandwiches. Make you want to slap a mobster. It's so good. Make you want to slap Al Capone. It's so good. I had one from Rico Beanie's the other night, Saturday night, when I was at the South Loop Hotel. It was good. The only thing is they forgot to just grind it up or whatever they do with it. There was a whole hunk of meat. I was like, oh no. So next time, kind of grind it up or cut it up or whatever you're gonna do with it. Yeah. That's what the first wife said. The first lady. Yeah. Did the Baja Men's investigation ever uncover exactly who let the dogs out? Troy, you missed your calling, man. Lakeside, one of their last big hits, and Bullseye right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Thank you so much for joining us. I know Troy Zingers, yeah. Troy said, did the Baja Men's investigation ever uncover exactly who let the dogs out? Anyway. I'm telling you, Troy, you missed your calling. You should have been a comedian. Once again, hello to Les Keith Scott, a.k.a. Kiki. Thank you so much for being on my live. John Caldwell, bass player extraordinaire. I was supposed to go pick up a bass guitar today. It was a white Fender Jazz. Unfortunately, I ran out of time. And instead, I laid down and took a nap on my brand new mattress and bark spring. So, instead. But I'm going to try to get it this week. You know, what I've been doing is trying to budget myself more because of the whole car situation. You know, I hope to get my car back before Christmas. Well, before then. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories with Auntie Patty. Yep, it's a white jazz. Kind of like the one that Larry Graham plays. Yep. Yep. I hope it works out too. Because I've been, hope I get my car back, get another bass. Because I have a 5-string back here. It's a 5-string PV. So I have a 4-string and a 5-string. And I think with the 4-string it'll make me practice more. That's what I'm thinking. Don't hold me to that, but I'm looking for a 4-string P bass. I go on an app called OfferUp, and a lot of people, they upgraded. They got new guitars, so it's called OfferUp. So check it out. OfferUp. But before I get that bass, yeah. Before I get that bass, of course, I'm going to pay the light bill. And they only want like $125 for this bass. I don't know if it's a Squire or if it's a real Fender. I mean, not that Squire isn't a real Fender. Squire is just, how can I say it? I can't even say generic. It's just that, some Fenders are made in Mexico and some of them are made here. So I think the Squire basses are made in Mexico. Almost to the same specifications, but they're always slightly more than the Squires. Right, Squire's the budget line, yeah. So, for those who are not ready to go on tour yet, not quite ready yet. I saw Larry Graham's bass. I'm like, damn, how many pickups and knobs do you have on this? And then I saw Marcus Miller's bass. Marcus has his own line of Fender Jazz and P basses. Oh, Marcus. Yeah, they started the Squire line, because everybody couldn't afford, if they couldn't afford I guess the real thing, but it was like a scale model of that particular bass, because back then I used to own a Fender Marcus Miller. What happened to it? You used to own it. What happened? Somebody stole it? Ah. Mm-mm. That's top of the line. That's what, $1,500 bass. I'm like, go on, Marcus. I know you getting a cut off of that. You traded it in for something else. Good Lord. What could you have possibly traded that in for something? For what? I'm like, oh no. That's a top of the line bass right there. That and Larry Graham's modified jazz bass. With his microphone built right in. Oh, say no more. Say no more. I've seen the other ones, was it Lakeland? I've seen those. Those are not bad. And I used to see this Music Man in this pawn shop over on 80, I want to say like 81st and Ashland. They had a black Music Man, and I was like, oh. But I settled on the black jazz bass that they had on with the white pick guard. Now they had two. They had a black one with a white pick guard, and they had a red one. They were identical to each other. And I'm like, oh man. So I ended up getting both. Here's the story. I bought the black one to play at a gala that was out at, where was it? The Holiday Inn out there in Matson. So I was supposed to play it, right? Bought it when Dan was with the company. Okay. So I bought it to play that night and never played it. This young lady friend of mine, she went to the same pawn shop and got the red one. So I had the black one and I had the red one. I kept the black one for a while. I gave the red one back to her to take back because we fell out about it. And I was like, take your bass back, sweetheart. My friend, our friendship isn't worth it, The OJs and Let Me Make Love to You, right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Once again, hello to John Caldwell, also to Victor Jackson. Thanks for checking in. Vic Jackson, as Doug Banks used to say, Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. We're talking about bass guitars. I remember back in the day, Larry Graham used to play this big bass. It looked like the guitar that B.B. King had. It looked like Lucille, but it was a bass, and it was made by a company called Vox, and that's what he recorded with back in the day when he did Dance to the Music and My Lady and all those other songs. Until, he started switching to the Fender bass. He was playing the Fender Jazz, Fender this, Fender that, But he's got this bass out. It's got a whole bunch of knobs on it. I'm like, okay, you got treble, bass, mid range. It's got like 4 pickups on it. I'm like, well, you can afford it. He's Larry Graham. I wish one of these days. Me and you, John, me and you. Here's the Gap Band, Old Fashioned Love on Bedtime Stories. It's what I need from you. I'm surprised B.B. King didn't name his guitar Priscilla, since he already stole so much from Elvis. Oh, no. Do you know the story behind that? The story behind that whole guitar thing. B.B. King ran back into a burning building to get his guitar and found out that these two guys were fighting over a young lady by the name of Priscilla, good Lord, Lucille. They knocked over a kerosene lamp. The lamp, of course, ignited the place. B.B. ran back in the place to get his guitar. When he found out that these two men were fighting over a woman by the name of Lucille, he named his guitar or guitars Lucille as a reminder to never run back into a burning building. All right. B.B. King. And that's the story of how Lucille got its name. Since then, there have been several models of the guitar that he used. Of course, it was a Gibson GB3 or GB1 or whatever. The guitar was a combination acoustic and electric. So it had like the little F holes in the middle, which you could use it, without an amplifier. But he kept getting feedback because 335, thank you. What is the ESG 335? One of those. But over the years, they modified it and closed the holes up. That way he could crank it up as loud as he wanted to, But, yep, he named every single one of them Lucille. And I remember one year going to the auto show, and in this crystal thing was his guitar, or one of them. I was like, wow. And of course, they wouldn't allow you to touch it. So I stood next to it and took a picture. Where that picture is, I don't know. But I was like, wow, that's his guitar. And most people, they don't get it. They don't understand that, that means nothing to them. They go, oh, it's B.B. King's guitar. So what? Where is he? Dead. But it was an exact replica of the guitar with gold pickups and everything. So, but, only musicians, understand what it was all about. So, yeah. Only musicians. So everybody else is like, it's just a guitar. It's like, no, you don't understand. It's more than just a guitar. It's the history behind it that the young people will never understand. And that's it. Yep. That's it. That's all. It's the history. It's the story behind it. You know, B.B. King had a guitar where he wrote on the guitar in paint. WDIA 1070 AM. As he was a DJ. Mm-mm. Ooh, Lord. Is it only Monday? It's only Monday. Uh-oh. Been locked up again. Mm-mm. Computer just froze up again. Good Lord. Ooh, good God. Computer just don't want to act right. I ain't mad at you, computer. I ain't mad at you. That's why I always have a backup. There we go. Mm-hmm. Chef Greg, just having fun. Yeah. Sweet grooves, I'm not the groove. That's enough. Slow jams from Quincy Jones and Company. Wrapping it up with Big Bad Barry White right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Hello to Chef Greg Dorsey, whom I saw on, well, I talked to him on Saturday. He was supposed to meet up with me over at the, where was I? South Loop Hotel. Yeah. Chef had to do something. He had to cook some steaks or something. I don't know. He never came back. I went to Riccabini's. And just that quickly, then he was gone. And a guy was sitting in the parking lot. He said, "Did you see Greg? He was looking for you, man." I'm like, "Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that." Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Right here on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis and Chicago, and the bestmusicofyourlife.com. And as soon as my computer acts right, I'm going to play our sponsor, which is Grubhub, where they say Grub. No, wait a minute. Come on, computer. It's just doing its own thing. I think it's time for a new computer. But I'm not ready to give this one up yet. It's still got a few months left on it. That's about it. Anyway, time to do the delivery dance, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Grub what you love. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories. The show that, where's my theme music? There we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Chef Greg, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining me on my Facebook Live. Victor Jackson. We got all guys tonight. Where are the ladies? Oh, there we go. Kanisha Fox, I spoke too soon. She said, just let it go, right? What, let the computer go? Man, as long as that computer comes on, I'm going to still use it. I had found the computer by my old job, and I fished it out of a garbage can, and I took it home, and I put virtual DJ on it, and it was just working just fine. And then one day, I got that dreaded blue screen. You know what that means, right? Oh, well, it was done like toast. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. It's time for Foreplay, 4 songs by one of your favorite groups or artists. This group hails from Philadelphia. They were known as 2 different groups. They had a lead singer who was with another group, and they said, no, we need you over here. So they all got together. It was 2 brothers, and they were all, you know, the 4 guys in the group. They were all, you know, they all grew up in the same school and everything else. And then this other guy, you know, he came in later. People always ask me, what was the worst interview you ever did? The worst interview I ever did was with Ted Mills of Blue Magic. But I'm not going to hold that against the other guys because their music will live on. Tonight, in Foreplay, we feature the music of Blue Magic on Bedtime Stories. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Mm. This house on the block. So why were we fishing through the garbage? The computer, it was like the computer was calling me. It was like, save me. Save me. They're gonna crush me. So I brought the computer home. I gave it a new home. It was like, save me. It's like, don't let them crush me because they were gonna, put it in one of those dumpsters and crush it. So, yep, I fished it out of the garbage. Yeah. I love electronics, so that's what I do. So I saved it from a fate worse than death, and I was getting crushed. They were gonna crush that computer, man. My poor computer. I can't help it. I like electronics, and I cannot lie. I can't. I cannot help it. I just, whatever it is, I just, it's just something about electronics, me and electronics. And it's been going on since I was a kid. I would go over somebody's house. I'm like, oh, are you using that? No, you can have it, son. I don't use that anymore. 9 times out of 10, it would be a turn. Excuse me. It would either be a turntable or 8-track player or a reel-to-reel player, a stack of records, anything. It's like, you're not going to use Mr. You kid. Of course, my parents hated it because, I was just being honest. I'm like, you're not going to use that, are you? No, son, it's just been sitting up there collecting dust. Boy, stop asking for stuff. We buy you enough. I'm like, obviously you don't if I go to somebody else's house and see something in there that I don't have. So therefore, I'm taking this. That's like big butts. You like those as well. Yes, I do. I like big butts and I cannot not lie. Those other brothers can't deny. I like big girls, period. Not just two. I saw this lady last night at Gino's. She was tall and big. I'm like, ooh. I was like, down, boy. Down, boy. Down. Ah. John said that's why I play bass. Big bottoms. All right, that's enough. Get put in Facebook jail. Boom, 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 boom. I love that song. The real big bass. I know, right? The big double bass like Jamerson used to play. Is that cough contagious? And you should have hollered at her. No, the cough is not contagious. I was eating the fried fish from earlier, and you know, some of the batter got stuck in my throat. Not the batter, but the crust. So that's what happened. And I started to holler at the girl, but I'm like, it's like I've run out of business cards from just passing out, my business cards to people who never call me. They never call. I'm like, what is it? I like, okay. And I was talking to my niece about it. She's like, do you ever really call them? I said, no, I just give them my card. I give them the option to call me. And that's it. I don't, I don't force them to call me. It's like, I don't force them to call me. I just don't. Either they're going to call or they're not going to call. And 9 times out of 10, they don't call. And 9 times out of 10, I don't really care. If they're going to call, then they're going to call. If not, that's cool too. I get it. I understand. You got a man, you don't want to date. I'm too old for you. They come up with, 21 excuses, 99 excuses, but Al ain't one. You don't need a business card. Just use your pickup line. Hi, I'm Al Greer. I have no car. My utilities are in my son's name, and I recently lived in an old lady's basement. Sometimes the truth is, sometimes the truth is better than anything else. And you're absolutely right. Yep. I have no car because they pulled it, They say, oh, you moved, huh? Oh, well, we got you now. My utilities, yes. My lights are in my son's name. You're absolutely right. And I lived in an old lady's basement. You're, sometimes the truth is better than fiction. I tell you, sometimes, yeah, the truth is a lot better. You're agreeing with them, Fox? Thank you. I mean, but it's the truth. They snatched my car. Yep. Yep. And yes, my lights are in my son's name. I'm not going to even lie. You know, but I let someone run up the bill to $1,400. I'm sorry, $1,600. Because I remember before I moved in here, that was enough money that I had saved up to get this apartment. It's the first month's rent, and first month's rent, last month's rent, or security deposit. They said by right they can't take a security deposit anymore. So, but I had saved up that much money, and then when I called to get the lights on in my name, they were like, "Sir, you had." Did you ever have service at 16 McCarthy Road? I was like, oh, never mind. So, I panicked. I'm like, okay. So I started calling around people, first thing I did was let me see, I went down the list. I called my kids, I was like, okay, who don't have lights in their name? And that was it. And sure enough, I said, son, I hate to ask you this. I said, but I need your social security number so I can get these lights cut on. He said, no problem. I said, he said, three something, 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 something. Look. Okay. He didn't stutter or nothing. Well, he stutters when he talks, but he. He said, you're a real brother. I told you. Y'all think I'm, I'm just like you all. But I got them lights on, boy. I was like, okay. Because no sooner than I called it in, I came home and the fans were going around like, oh, damn. All they got to do is flip a switch. These days, they just flip a switch and cut it off. Sometimes they forget and let the bill run up to like $1,400. And they're like, they know you can't pay that. So they just snatch them off. They know you can't pay no $1,400 light bill. I'm like, really? So Hudson 32700, yeah, right. So my niece is gonna hook me up with Lin Yap or Lee Lap or whatever they call it. And that way they're gonna pay it down. That way I'll just switch it over to my name. So it won't be no problems. But meanwhile, I pay that bill faithfully. And of course, the gas is not on yet. So that's another story. So, yep. And it's that simple. You're absolutely right. It is that simple. So, and so it goes, in the words of Linda Ellerby. Do-do-do-do-do. Trouble. Yep. It's that simple. And pay your bills on time and absolutely don't get a bill on in somebody else's house that could possibly kick your ass out. Because they don't care. They just don't care. When I say they don't care at all. You're like, oh well, you left. Yeah, well, you put me out. So after that, it's like it's a done deal. You are you're officially out, and that's it. You're done. You know, I have learned my lesson about co-signing and putting stuff in my name in somebody else's house. This here, where my finger at? This here, this is mine. You know, my name is on the lease. My name is on the bill for AT&T. This here, it's mine. And that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Right. Because you can't always help people. You just can't. I have tried to be Mr. Nice Guy. And it didn't work out. So no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's it. That's all. So that's right. All right, Kiki. You know, and it's sad that you can't help people. It's like, you know, they take advantage of you. And, you know, every time in every way, they take advantage of you. I was talking to this young lady a year ago. I'm going to come see you. I'm going to do this. When you move into your apartment, I'm going to come see you. You see anybody in here? No. And that's just it. You know, as long as I was helping her pay her bills, she figured she had me on the hook. Oh, well, dummy. And that was it. She thought as long as I was helping her pay her bills, that she had me on the hook. Because most women think that we're stupid. And most of us are. Because when we feel that there is something in it for us, then we will empty out our pockets. Wrapping up foreplay with Blue Magic. That is Spell. That was one of their first songs back in 1972. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. You know what, guys? I have to change my spending habits. But, you know, like my mother always said, once your bills are paid, you know, your light bill, your gas bill, your rent, once all of that is paid off, whatever you have left over, that's your money. That's your money. But take care of your bills first. You know, pay your car note. This is a sore spot with me right there. Pay all of your bills off when they come in the mail, because my mother she used to sit at the kitchen table and she would balance the checkbook. They don't do that anymore. You know, she would balance the checkbook. And that was it. When the bills came on the 1st or the 15th, she would write out the checks and they'd be sitting in the mailbox for the mailman or mail lady to get. And that was it. That's how she got such great credit. So, you know, I did that for a while, but then I started getting stuff that I thought I wanted, but not really needed. And that's what I try to tell my kids. my children, I should say. Some things you can go without. You don't really need it, you just want it. Well, I got everything that I wanted because I worked for it, and I could appreciate it better because once I got to be an adult, I could, you know, I could really appreciate it more because I worked to get it. So when you see me talking on this beautiful microphone with this $400 board and this, you know, these nice speakers and everything else, I worked for this. I deserve it, right? Here's Larry Graham. She thought you were simping. Yeah. Well, when Al was a kid, his parents wrote out a check with a hammer and a chisel. That's funny. That's funny shit right there. With a hammer and a chisel. That's right. Back in the Flintstone era. Mm-mm. But that was one thing that I could appreciate, you know. And I thought just like every other kid, well, y'all work. Did you say that? Well, y'all work, y'all got money. Yeah, we do, you know, and that money is for rent. Well, at that time, we had a house mortgage. So dad paid the house mortgage, and he paid the light bill, and he paid the gas bill, and he paid the electric bill. My parents had credit cards that I didn't know about. You know, they had credit cards that I could never get. Discover, oh man. But that was it. You know, my mother learned from her parents, my grandparents. Pay your bills on time. When they come in the mail, pay them. It builds up your credit. Your credit score goes up. Not down, it goes up. LaWanna Trailer, what's going on, sweetheart? So that's one thing that she instilled in me. Once your bills are paid, once everything is paid off, then whatever is left, that's your money. Otherwise, back then it was Illinois Bell. They get their money. You know, the cable company, which is now AT&T or Comcast, they get their money, and so on and so forth. Once all the checks are written, or in our case, you know, they have an app where you hit the button and it pays those bills. You just put in the amount of the bills, and it's like zoop, 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 and everybody gets their money, and that's it, and you're done. You know, that's how we do it now. Kanisha said getting a credit card was just another bill, especially when you're not paying the bill. I know. And once again, once your bills are paid, the rest of the money is yours. Buy what you want. But remember what you need. Yep, remember, you know, pay the bills off, pay them down, whatever. Even if you have a credit card, which I do, I have a Capital One credit card, which when I pay it on time, it builds more credit and my credit score goes up every time I pay it. They debit it from my account every month. I don't even see it because it's gone. But when I need to use that credit card, that's it. You know, it's like for everything else, there's a bank card, either Bank of America or U.S. Bank. And that's it. But only in extreme emergencies will I whip out that Capital One, was it Visa or MasterCard? Only in emergencies. But I make sure that I send something, whether it be $25, $30, $50, whatever. That way, you know, if both of my accounts, you know, my bank accounts are in the rear, whip out that credit card, and that's it. I can buy me a meal that day. I can put some gas in the card that day. Whatever it takes, and that's it. But yeah, getting a credit card is just another bill. But my mother only used credit cards in extreme emergencies. She could draw money against those credit cards because her credit was that good. You know, I always say you you will never die from having bad credit. You know, and I had that conversation a few months ago before they took my car. I said, you never die from bad credit. You know, I understand how important it is to have good credit, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over not having good credit or great credit or whatever. At one point, it was 720. Now it's like 520. So it's on its way back up. You know, I'm not even going to worry about it. You know, like they say, if you pray, don't worry. If you worry, then don't pray. Because, and I'm not trying to preach, but I can. In the words of Mark Allen, may he rest in peace. You know, as long as you're here on earth, continue to do what you like to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody. And that's it. As long as you don't hurt anyone, as long as you keep his commandments. You know, because it seems like every day, you know, and I'm not the only one. It seems like every day we break a commandment. You know, and I hate to go into this, but some of these preachers out here, some of them are they just no good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that. Some of these preachers out here are just, you know, every now and then you'll run into a pastor, a reverend, you know, bishop, archbishop, whatever they call themselves. You know, you'll find some of them are on the up and up. And you will find some of them are on the down and low. So, you know, like who was this Bishop Eddie Long? Oh yeah. Oh. Mm-mm-mm. Don't be sorry to say that. It's the truth. Some of these guys is like, no. You know, how do you preach, you know, to these people and you don't really believe it? I mean, in your own little crazy way, you might believe it, you know. But at the end of the day, you taking money from people and they don't have the money. And, you know, they preach, you know, bring your tithes to the storehouse. I get it. But when they give you, when they put a dollar amount on it, you know, we want you to give $500 to the church. From one job, I only make $500 a week. So I'm going to give them $500. Maybe half, maybe 10%, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give 10% of your earnings to the church. I get that. But like I told this pastor one time, I said nothing from nothing leaves what? A whole lot of nothing. Oh, yeah. Isley Brothers. Voyage to Atlantis, right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. We were talking about preachers, no one in particular, because I don't want anyone to get their feathers ruffled, their panties in a bunch or whatever. So I'm not naming any names, but I just know that some preachers, just like some men, preachers are men too. They are attracted to money and women. It's no secret that they are attracted to money and women. Once again, I'm not going to name any names. I'm just not. They are attracted to nice cars. When have you ever seen a preacher driving a Volvo? Well, not a Volvo. I take that back. Have you ever seen a preacher driving a Volkswagen? Have you ever seen a preacher driving a Nissan Sentra or something like that? No, you just don't. You know, they drive nice cars. I get it. You know, they might drive a Benz or a Cadillac or a BMW, or, you know, some of them are driving around in these Teslas. I recently bought some, you know, stock in Tesla, but, you know, they like to buy and drive nice cars. I get it, you know, and the first lady got a, you know, $1 million ring on her finger. I get it. I understand. Trust me. Because, you know, I'm on a Benz too. I want all of that and then some. And they walk around with gold and diamonds and everything else. I'm like, okay. I just have one thing to say. God is good. Yeah, just don't get caught. Just don't get caught, brothers. LaWanda said, I know one that drives a Kia. I know that. Hey, you know, I'm that kind of preacher. I'll be like driving my Kia and picking folks up on Sunday morning. That would be me. I would be that kind of preacher, you know. Here's the Deal, featuring Babyface in two occasions. What was I thinking of? New edition. It's Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother. Evidently, the offspring of preachers can be useful. Dusty Springfield evidently learned a lot from the son of a preacher man. That's what he does: pick folks up and drops them off, and that's good. That is fantastic. You know, my one of the churches that I play for, the bishop picks up people in his car. You know, he makes sure that they get to church. You know, he starts picking them up as early as like 7 o'clock in the morning. Said, I ain't mad at you, bro. That's one way to find out if they're going to make it or not, or if they're going to have an excuse for not, you know, coming to church. Well, I didn't have no ride. Well, guess what? I'm sitting outside your crib. Come on, walk on out. you know, because the one church that I play for, you know, I have to pick people up on Sunday morning, make sure they get to church. You know, that pastor, he calls me early. You know, he calls me around about 8 o'clock. You know, have you left the house yet, Brother Greer? I'm like, nope. I need you to pick up Sister so and so and this person here and that person there. I'm like, okay. And knock on the door. She should be ready. How many people know that these women are never ready on Sunday morning? Never ready on Sunday morning. Never. Always attacking my mic chair. I tell you. Oh, there it is. Way over there. These women are never ready. There we go. You know, the only time that they are ready is when they're ready to leave and go home and get a ride from me, because these women are, I don't know if they're crazy or crazy about me or just plain crazy. I'm like, what is it? These women are just thirsty for men. There's this one chick that I pick up. I'm not going to say her name, but she just giggles the whole time. And she sits up there and looks at me like a lovesick puppy. Like, I'm like, lady, you know, that's when I pull out, you know, I'm married, lady. I just, no, you silly. I can't deal with the silliness. You know, that's just not me. You know, we can laugh and have a good time, but I can't stand no silly woman. Silly woman walking down the street. I can't do it. I just can't. I just can't, you know. And she just giggles. And one morning I picked her up and she was singing the jingle from Liberty Mutual. Yeah. She's like, I'm like, I'm sorry, lady, I can't do that. She giggles because she thinks you're funny looking. All right, Kenesha, don't be like Troy. She thinks I'm funny looking, and yeah. She just sits up there and looks at me like, you know, I'm like, lady, I am no more attracted to you than I am, yeah, nobody. It ain't happening. Was she much younger? No. She's in her late 40s, early 50s. You know, I just, you know, she's just not my type. You know, everybody at this church has like a disability or something, you know, or they're all on medication or something. I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. Now the second church, everybody's pretty sane there. They're normal. But the first church is like everybody's got a disability or, a mental problem. And I just, and my thing, I get it, get your congregation any way you can. I get it. I understand. But I'm like, lady, this ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. I go to church suited and booted. Yeah. So it's like, and they just sit there and look at me like, they don't talk about people with disabilities. No, I'm serious. They have mental problems, or old sister so and so, she's off her medication again. I'm like, oh Lord. The rain. New edition. Can you stand the rain? I can't stand snow. I was born in the wintertime. I can't stand snow. That's just me. I'm sorry. Don't like it. But I know it's coming. I know the snow will come out tomorrow. You can bet your bottom. Anyway, it's bedtime stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Thank you so much for joining us. Ganesha Fox said, don't talk about people with disabilities. I said, one of the churches that I go to, I hate to say this about them. Some of them have disabilities. There's nothing wrong with having a disability, but it's like either they have a disability or they're, mentally unstable. I should talk right. I fit right in with them, don't I? Yeah, because I'm crazy too. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Here's Morris Day and the Time, and gigolos, they get lonely too. Yes, we do, on Bedtime Stories, with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Yep. Yep. Some of them, yeah. And that's unfortunate, that they but he treats them the same, and I'm like, okay, and he never mentions them having a disability, especially those that I have to pick up. It's like, I'm like, okay, I'm scared of her. He said one day, he said, oh, I know it was great. It was a great concert. Yeah, I was there. But he said to me he's like, be on your best behavior when you pick up sister so and so. This was like the first time. And then when I saw what she looked like, I was like, you think I'm gonna hit on her? It ain't happening. Brother, are you kidding? Consider digging in your ear on camera to be a mental disability. No. No, only you, Troy, would pick out some, some minor stuff like that. Only you would do that. Otherwise, no. Digging in my ear is just natural, and that's okay. Everybody does it. But only you would pick out something like that because, well, you're pretty anal, I guess. It's like, no one cares but you, Troy. When I talk on the phone, when people call me during my broadcast, you're the only one that picks up on that. So, yeah. Why would he? In God's eye, everybody is equal. And you're absolutely right. Everybody is equal, and everybody deserves, yeah. I remember Johnny Carson being up to his second knuckle, picking his nose. Yeah. Johnny did that on camera. Yeah, he did all the time. So, hey, I'm only human. So, that's what happens. Did someone call me? No, they didn't. Okay. Mm-mm. But, that's funny. You should point that out. It's like, no one cares. As long as I don't dig in my nose, because I think, like when you pull up to somebody in the car and they're digging in their nose, I'm like, you digging for gold or something? What do you, like you said, all the way up to their knuckle. I'm like, dang, I didn't know a finger could go that far into your nostril. I'm like, good grief. But yeah, sometimes, people, they go too far. They just go all the way. I'm like, are you touching your brain or something? What's really going on? Mm-mm. But what was the other? It was David Letterman had a bad habit too. He was, they said one night he showed up. He didn't have his, his front teeth in. So, they made a whole skit out of it of him not having, his grill in. Like, okay. But yeah. Everybody had a quirk about them. Herb, his quirk was digging in his nose, but at least he had a napkin. He would, have a napkin or a handkerchief, but he would sit there while we were DJing, and he would just go to town because Herb had some really long fingers. So I think a lot of times he was just playing footsie with his brain with his long fingers, But anyway, he would sit up there and look at me while he was doing it. And then one time he just left the tissue in his nose and he was just, I was like, okay, Mr. Kent, you still have to wash your hands. Yes, that is true. I cannot tell you how many times I've been in the bathroom at 800 South Wells where someone walked into the bathroom, did their business and just walked right out. I'm like, oh, you know, you go wash your hands. Excuse me, Lord. Excuse me. You're not even gonna wash your hands? I'm like, oh, really? And they just keep going. You know, like, ew. I'm like, are you really just going to not wash your hands after shaking your penis and stuff? Like, okay, you're a nasty man. What'd you say, John? It happens, yeah. It's like, ew. Yeah, and it happens too often, John, where they don't wash their hands. And then they want to touch on you and stuff. Like, okay. You know, that's people in general. Females do the same. Really? Now, I just assume women were more conscious about doing that or not doing that. You know, more conscious about, washing their hands and everything else. John said, that's why I don't shake hands. I heard that. I hear you, John. Sometimes I get lonely. Shoot, that's all the time. From the album Pandemonium, sometimes I get lonely. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. It's bedtime stories. That's what it is. Right here on Bedtime Stories on the radio. I got confused there. You got her too. If I do, I go straight to the restroom and re-wash my hands. I know that's right. It's like they just don't care. You know. Yeah. And it's no particular race of people. It's all of them. But I've noticed, and maybe you all can help me out. I noticed that most of the Oriental people, they still wear their masks, especially at the nail shop. Now I know they're dealing with these chemicals and everything else, but I noticed they have not taken their mask off since 2020. Used to walk in there and but it's like they know something we don't know. I heard President Biden said that the pandemic was over. It's over. What? I'm like, okay. If you say so, sir. It's just that everybody has been vaccinated. It ain't over, but more people have, pretty much been vaccinated. So, and then there are a few people, there are, a handful of people who have not been vaccinated and who said that they're not going to get vaccinated. I'm like, okay, bro, or ma'am, or whoever. Yeah, man. Oh, baby, help me find a way. Little Anthony and the Imperials, and help me find a way to say I love you without going broke. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. That's going to do it for me. Thank you, as always, for staying up with me. To John Caldwell, to Kanisha Fox, Lawana Traylor, even Troy Anthony. Thank you so much. Yeah. Kanisha Fox says, even being vaccinated, even though I heard the president say the other day on TV, he said the pandemic is over. For real? Maybe in the White House, but the rest of us in the world, we still, as poor folks, we still worry about that. But Kanisha said being vaccinated means nothing, because you can still catch it. The only thing is, if you do catch it, you won't die from it. That's a good thing. Well, like I said, that's going to do it for me, Al Greer. Thank you so much for staying up with me. We do it again tomorrow, right here on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis in Chicago, and of course, the best music of your life. Till next time, blue skies, green lights, and peace. Good night, Miss Delicious. You blow up down, you. Two, three. Oh. All right, ladies and germs, I'm going to get into my new bed. I have a new mattress. I still don't have the box spring. Well, not box spring. The frame, the bed frame. I got the headboard and all of that stuff. So if you know any handymen or women, I'll pay them to put it together. I'm lazy. Yes. I will admit I don't know how to do that stuff. So, anyway, vaccine never claimed to prevent, just to curtail deaths because of it. Yep. Well, thank you. I'm not even going to think about it, because by his stripes I am healed. I would have been gone a long time ago. Trust me. Because I'm sure I was around a lot of people who had it. But fortunately, I didn't get it. So anyway, thank you so much once again, guys. Have a great evening, great day tomorrow, and I'll holler at you tomorrow night. Peace out. Peace.